Dave Weiss, flatearthdave.com. The guy who designed the Flat Earth Sun, Moon, and Zodiac Clock app made by Blue Water Bay. Use the referral code 6988869. That's me. Send a hello at I'm Clever Artist Name on the app. You could also email me personally for music production, collaborations, and music for video usage. I'm cleverartistname at gmail.com. You can call for booking. I am a world record EDM producer, digital disc jockey, and I know Earth is motionless and flat. So all the live mixes that I do are improvised, entirely original music. Otherwise, I would let you know if it's a song that's not mine or a track that's not mine. For booking, call 1-516-216-3934. I'll most likely be DJing at some of Dave Weiss's events in the future, and most likely the after parties. I prefer to DJ the after parties than the actual events. My music is more of an after party thing. When people are getting a little intoxicated or getting a little loose in the pants. All right. And while you're there, you can go to imcleverartistname.wordpress.com. imcleverartistname.wordpress.com. I'll pull it up right here. imcleverartistname.wordpress.com. And you can go there for booking as well. Scroll down. You can go to the newest merch that I got. The Gleason map, the I Can Feel Too Near, I Can See Too Far design. They got t-shirts that I designed. So the front looks like this. You got all these different colors you can put it in. All these sizes. If you're trying to wear a dress, you know how those 5'2" women wear really large shirts. So if those women are trying to wear gigantic shirts to look extremely cute in, you can do that. On the back, you got the map. Oh, this isn't the ladies' design. Let's go to the ladies' design. Where is it?
Hold on.
Oh.
Hold on.
Dave's here. Hold on. Let's go talk to Dave. Hey, I was muted. I was just preparing.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, Dave, I hear you. I saw your video, and then the video went away.
Yeah, it did. Give me a second.
Sure. Sound like you're in a bathroom. What's going on with the reverb?
You hear reverb?
Yeah, are you in the kitchen?
No, I'm in a studio that has very echoey walls.
Yeah, that's
Is it that bad?
No. It's just, it sounds like you're about to.
It sounds like I'm in a studio that has cement walls and nothing on them.
It's almost like you're about to make a sermon in a cement jail cell.
No. And I don't have my green screen, so things are a little crazy.
I like it. All I did was set up a little green screen behind me, and I just allowed Zoom to do the work. Oh,
yep.
This killed me.
All right, so you can record. Don't forget to hit record on your end when you're ready.
Okay, yeah, I'll do that. Sure.
All right, recording in progress.
Oh, you know what? I'll record on something else. Actually. How do I stop this one?
Okay, I'm recording also just to back it up.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I'll record on OBS. I think OBS is easier for me. Like the introduction.
Does OBS record the video on both sides?
Yeah. I have two monitors.
Okay.
And I'm just
fine.
on one monitor, and the other monitor's got some issues. So, but it works. It's just for some reason it's like faint. It's like half the brightness just died on it like 2 weeks ago. So it's an old monitor. I guess it's time to go. One of those. So Dave, I'm glad we're talking today. I'll just give the brief first. It's because I got a little set list here, so I want to make sense out of it. I don't want to just trail off and treat it like a dog, how I just see these random people just, well, how about this? How about this? How about this? And they have nothing. All they're doing is grasping at anything that flies into their head. And you're sitting there just knocking it down, and they're just, they don't know how to handle it. And I just laugh because I can't believe you have like this professional athlete ability to do this. It's astonishing.
Anthony, it's so easy because everybody has the same exact questions. It's the same thing. What about Ships Over the Horizon? What about Seasons?
Right.
What about, and because they've never looked into it. And guess what? You and I were both that person at one time.
Right. It's right. No, yeah, I'm at that point where like just the friends are just slicing away because it's just so astonishing to them. And I before I get to the preface of how I got here, at about the 12-month mark of looking into it, casually, it wasn't even serious looking into it. It was just like, okay, I'll look at this. I didn't deny looking into things. It was if I saw it, I was like, okay, I'll check this out. And I would just put it in the back of my head and go, well, that's hard to debate. All right. And then it just kept being a lot of those, well, that's a hard one to say no to. It wasn't like I wasn't just denying it out of cognitive dissonance. I almost enjoy cognitive dissonance at this point. It's almost like a Socratic comfort zone.
I love when the globe believers say, you just want the earth to be flat, right?
It's like, no,
and you want to feel special, right? And like, wow, where is that coming from? That's like pre-programmed because so many people say it,
right?
But none of us woke up one morning and go, oh, I want to alienate all my friends and be laughed at. It's like most podcasters introduce me. We have a very special guest, like special. We have special Dave. He thinks the earth is flat.
Like it's we have someone who dragged knuckle floor, who don't know.
Yeah, not a.
And then when they hear you speak, the funny part is when they hear you speak, they don't know how to speak. They realize they don't know how to formulate a sentence when speaking to you.
I can't formulate a sentence sometimes.
No, I'm okay with the idea of us not formulating sentences, but the point is when there's a vision, right? So we're painting words with pictures, and they just can't see the colors, and it's frustrating. And you're showing them video, and like I just don't get it. That's why I don't know. I'm not a big fan of the whole argument when people say the book is better than the movie. I disagree. I think they're different arguments, but if there's a movie and two people get to watch it, we get to see the same exact thing and then debate on what we saw, as opposed to, well, I read the word blue sky, but I saw pale blue and you saw navy blue because it was more toward dusk, and I thought midday, and it's like, well, what's the blue sky then? When you're watching a video and you get to debate it, where's the debate on? We're watching the same, unless you're colorblind. We're watching the same thing.
It's indoctrination. It's lifelong indoctrination. People have a hard time getting through that base level because our whole world is built on the globe. Just a real quick note for those of you, we talked about it before at the beginning of the show. I don't have my green screen. I have a white screen. So if I do a big smile and my teeth are missing, it's because the screen is the white.
I like it. It's making us. If I had that, it would make us both look like we were just crackheads.
Yeah,
we just holes drilled through the teeth. So I'll give a brief, because everybody has their own way to get to this point in life, and this point is always now, technically. So let's say I wrote it just so I could rip through it. And actually, I was listening to the band 311 today, because we're going on that 311 cruise. So any of you ballers out there, if you see me on the cruise, too bad. You're going to find out the hard way. So I realized today, the 311, I think it was 1995 or 96, they had the self-titled album. It's also known as the Blue Album. It's just the band just says 311 on it. It's a blue cover. And I remember I actually had more indoctrination then. My indoctrination went back to, I can almost distinctly remember the whole, the woeingness of space. So on the album cover, or was it in the jacket or something? They were all wearing these like eye shade thing that make them look like kind of like black alien eyes kind of thing. All the band members standing there together without shirts on with like black eyes that looked like alien eyes. And they spoke about a lot about like aliens and galaxies and stuff in the lyrics, and complete subconscious programming, not even realizing it. And the music's amazing. The song's amazing. The lyrics are great. As far as sci-fi goes, did not know it was sci-fi. So it goes back to 95, and I was 9 years old. So surprise, I'm 37 as of today. So September 11th, I was in high school. September 11th, 2001. So it went from 3/11 to 9/11. That's really the big jumps for me. I was in, I saw it on TV in photography class in high school. So while the buildings were collapsed, I was watching it on TV. And I remember seeing windows blowing out just below the collapse. I remember seeing a window blow out here and there. And I was pointing it out in real time within those few seconds it fell. I'm like, why are the windows blowing out? No one saw it because they were just stunned. They were all like stunned of what they were seeing. And I'm sitting there just analyzing it in real time. Like, what the fuck is going on here? And I was the only one in the school at like 15, 16 years old that did not believe the planes took it down. It looked demolished. And I never brought it up since. Like, for years later, I didn't bring it up because I was the only one in the school that did not believe it. Even though I saw it. Everyone else in the room thought planes take down whatever. Not me. So that was a weird moment to be in. That brought me, years later, I saw that video, Loose Change 9/11. And that brought me to some other video called Zeitgeist. And I haven't seen that.
Yep.
I don't really remember. I remember that touched a whole bunch of topics. That wasn't just 9/11. So that was a real like shock to the, the layers are just flying off this onion. They're just flying away. What is going on? Like within a couple hours, I wouldn't say overwhelmed. It was more of, how far does this go?
Yeah, what are you, a conspiracy theorist? You think that men join together to conspire for their own benefit? That's crazy.
What the weird thing was, at that time, I don't remember hearing the phrase conspiracy theorist, and I wasn't really into, like, I didn't get it. I wasn't that far in. I was always just touching. Conspiracy analyst is exactly what I call myself. Like, I'm at a sports desk with a headset on, like John Madden calling the plays. Like, I look at, like, that's kind of the way I like to take it, is like the conspiracy analyst. Like, okay, hey, check out this move the Illuminati did. They're about to do mRNA cancer vaccines. Send him a helicopter. Like, do you heard about that one, right? They're about to do these mRNA cancer oh my goodness, that's holy shit. That Illuminati offensive play call is unbelievable, because people are going to eat that shit up, and we're going to just look at him and go, listen, we told you day one 2020 that this is going to be one of the biggest scams on earth.
Easy what you say for YouTube, all right? Don't say anything specific about the scam.
Oh, I'll block it out if I have to, or I'll figure it out.
Just don't say the words that trigger the algorithm. That's fine.
If I have to, I'll go back. I'll edit it for you, and you can post it after. It's right. I mean, it's a lot to review, but I'll edit it if you need to. Don't worry about it, man. Okay, all right. So then that led me to this other sort of semi-indoctrination that, oddly enough, not that movie called What the Bleep Do We Know?
Yep, that's a good one.
Right, yeah. That was that one started getting my mind working about the whole bizarreness of everything. Yet I was still obviously in the Globe model at that point. Okay, then it gets weirder. This is where like the real freak show turned. An old band member of mine. I used to play extremely heavy metal on guitar, and I played hardcore on drums. I produce a lot of electronic dance music now. I got a world record. But I'm just not known yet. 3 albums, 252 tracks within the last year.
Nice.
It's weird. Obsessions, they just bring you through life, and time is gone, and it's crazy. So it's so an old band member of mine, Kevin, he showed me this guy, Joe Rogan, and this was back in his forum days. like when he had the message boards and everything. Some of the funniest shit I've ever seen in my life on those forums. And then it got infiltrated by a whole bunch of shitheads who like started posting all kinds of dumb shit and making him look like an asshole, so he deleted it. That led me to Alex Jones, or Bill Hicks, or I want to call him at this point. I'm convinced it's Bill Hicks. Don't care. It's that led me to Eddie Bravo because they were his friend, and then fast forward loads of years at that point, that led me to watching him getting ridiculed about Flat Earth by Brian Callen, and that irritated me.
The alleged rapist, Brian Callen.
What is he?
The alleged rapist.
You know what?
Brian Callen.
That doesn't mean shit to me as much as him treating his supposed friends like garbage when he's sitting there making a valid argument and he's just going, oh, you're stupid, you're stupid, you're stupid. And that's what led to that. Remember that Colin Kaepernick meme of like, whatever, sacrifice anything for bullshit, whatever was like his Nike slave campaign. Remember that? That Colin Kaepernick, the football player who he was like fired for kneeling, but then they had like, it was like trolling him with like Nike memes.
I think I remember.
You saw it, I think you'd remember it.
Yeah.
But then someone made a meme of that to make fun of Eddie Bravo. And it said, hold on. I have it as my background. It's so goddamn funny. I just want to get it said, believe in something, even if it means sacrificing mainstream science. And then it's the Nike swoosh, and it says, look into it. And that was one of the funniest things I've ever seen in my life. Because it was, first of all, it's Eddie Bravo. He's a funny guy. And it said, look into it. Where'd my video go? Why is it not showing up now? It's right there.
Eddie's got his podcast called Look Into It. It's very good. It's on Rockfin.
But the Look Into It thing, that joke has been around for years before he even named his podcast that. So that led me to Eddie Bravo and like the whole Brian Callen thing. I was just disgusted with how he was treating him, trying to point out, hey, we're probably being lied to. And oddly enough, it was because Eddie Bravo was being ridiculed by his friends, supposed friends. That I don't know if they're his friends or if they just use him for a punching bag on the podcast at this point. I don't know. But that irritated me because I have a lot more in common with Eddie Bravo as a musician than I do with the other people who are just into MMA. So that made me...
I was on with Sam Tripoli with Brian Callen, and him and I were talking about flat earth, moon landing, whatever. He just doesn't want to learn anything. Yeah. I mean, I could show him undeniable things, and he just doesn't want to learn anything.
Like you're like the guy in that.
Makes me wonder what he's really doing.
You're like the guy in They Live. You're like beating the hell out of him in the alleyway and trying to say, wear the glasses, idiot. And he's just putting up such a fight. It's like, you're going to have to be incapacitated and then wake up with the glasses on. Like, you're going to have to be tranquilized, like trank darted, passed out.
I showed him enough information where he should have seen it. And so it makes me question if he sees it, but he's purposely lying, you know? Right. And the people that are looking into him, he's got all these suspicious connections. And is he a shill? If I had to vote, I'd say no. I think he's just really stupid.
I would say stupid and a con man. Because he knows that if he switches over this belief system, or to not like if he deletes his belief system to go to a fact, he's going to lose fans, which means lose money, which means, oh, my career's over. He's just a con. He's just a vaporware snake oil con, and that's when it becomes obvious, is when they fear they're going to lose money because of questioning something. And then you had Joe Rogan, who went from hardcore just proving the moon missions are nonsense to all of a sudden there was like a light switch. Like
the light switch is called Neil deGrasse Tyson and a huge contract for his show, a network show that he got. Yeah.
So I originally planned on flying through this journey faster, but I realized I guess it's more important than I expected. Eddie Bravo led me to Eric Dubay, when he did like this Eddie Bravo radio show. He's like, "Hey, we're back for one more show," and blah, blah. And I was like, "Oh shit, Eddie Bravo has a podcast? I didn't even know." So then I saw this guy Eric Dubay, and Eric Dubay. This is the difference I noticed between. This is how I'd categorize you three as far as your skill, like the things your strong points. Eddie Bravo doesn't care anymore about teaching people. He's an entertainer. For the most part, he's an entertainer and an educator as far as martial arts goes. Eric Dubay, he's a great writer and narrator, but when it comes to conversation, he just seems like annoyed he has to talk about it. Like he's almost like sick of it. He's a great writer and he's a great narrator. Those are by far his strong points. You can just hear it in the tone of his voice when he speaks, and at least in his body language. And then you're like the freak, where it's like everyone, like you have kids. Do you have kids?
Do.
Okay, so you get it. Like Eddie gets it too, 'cause that's where his education comes from. But Eric, I don't think Eric has kids. You have kids. You understand when you're watching people fighting and say, no, I don't want to eat my goddamn vegetables. You're like, listen. Like, you just let them call you names. Like, yeah, okay, whatever. All right, let's get back to the facts. Let's get back to the facts. Okay, I get it. And that, to me, that's the ultimate level of getting this done. Is you just let them make fun of you, and it just makes them look dumber. And then they're going to go back and go like, all I did was sit there making fun of that guy, and he just sat there talking to me like he was a father figure, and I treated him like shit. It's almost like they all have parental problems, and they just see being educated by some stranger as, you're not my dad. It's like, you wouldn't listen to your dad anyway. If you're going to treat this stranger like this, like a piece of shit, how do you treat your own family? You're probably treating them like shit too. So it's only a reflection of how crazy they're treating a stranger, which they would never do if they just met you in line at a CVS. They would never treat you like that. Like, you can tell they're assholes because they're only doing it for the audience. They're not doing it even for themselves. They're doing it because they think it's making them look good to someone else. Like right now, I'm speaking to you. I'm not even speaking to an audience. That person don't give a fuck what really anyone else is going to say, because the stage we're going to get to, when we get to the one of the biggest misunderstood facts about the angular resolution, if you can pull that up, let's see how good the white screen works. That is one of the most astonishing facts about how we perceive reality. That is so hard to it's really relearning how you even see life. And that is one of the hardest things to really comprehend. So I'll whip it up here. I can cut right through. Eric Dubay led me eventually to the Antarctic Treaty, which was really like, that was the final domino. The Antarctic Treaty, as someone who was in the globe model, my exploration was consciousness, because that was the limit, right? I thought we were physically stuck, and now what's the next limit? The mind. That's infinite. So my like striving has always been the level of the world of how can we, is it possible to consciously time travel? You got these people who talk about reincarnation. You talk about these remote viewers. You talk about all these things where people with near-death experience, they're leaving their body and looking at shit and coming back. It's like, can you figure out how to willfully do that in a meditation? Is that really the highest level of exploration? And then you get to the Antarctic Treaty, you go, oh, we're slaves. Holy shit. 1959, December 1st. Was day one slave Earth. That was the official, hey, forget these people. Let's just call this slave Earth. They're dumb enough. They're just going to figure it. And by the time they figure it out, we're going to be old and dead. So what does it matter? It's So that was really the final domino of exploration is illegal. That infuriated me. And that
How about, have you seen?
That brought me to you.
Right.
Crazy. That brought me right to like top.
Have you seen on Google Earth how they don't let you look at the two places that would prove the Earth is a globe?
No.
So check this out. So this is Antarctica. I mean, this is Google Earth. Just go online, go to googleearth.com, and you could take the measuring tool and say, let's measure America. And so I'll just draw a rough outline around it, and boom, it tells me how many square miles. Okay?
Okay. I like how they give you that bullshit curve on it, too. When it connects it.
But just watch. So let's do Australia. We can do Australia, no problem. A little farther south.
Which is...
And we can get the approximate locate. Boom, there's the square miles. Right? But what happens when you do Antarctica? Watch this. Right? Ready? Click.
How does that work?
You're muted. There you go. You're not muted. You're good.
I was just looking. Yeah.
Yeah. So it does. It's like what? So let's just try a little closer. We'll do New Zealand. Right? We'll go around here, and no problem. Okay. Just Antarctica. So now let's go up to the north.
Yeah, I was wondering what the North Pole. Yeah, I wonder if they're gonna call.
Yeah. So we'll do Greenland, and that's pretty far north. And yeah, no problem. Now let's do the North Pole. So do North Pole.
Oh, that dark spot, the North Pole, right there.
Well, right around this area.
That area.
Bam, same thing.
Wow.
Like, what are they hiding?
That
What is going
on? That meme we just go, ooh, wow.
Yeah.
What is that? That's obvious they're hiding something. How much wrong can you get? Shit.
I don't know, man.
I'll So, all right. So in the world of when we speak, people think, Joe Rogan loves saying this too. What do you mean by they? They. Why do you? I don't like when you keep saying they, because they means like they. You don't have a person. Let's just define they. They is referring to the inner parts of the concentric circles of power. Common example: almost every adult is in on the big lie, keeping the specific children believing in Santa Claus as an omnipresent moral gift giver. Right? That's who they are. Perfect. The round table. Lord Alfred Milner, and then Rhodes. So that all happens until the deception is covered and the hypnosis is broken. So the false flag operations being another known big deception, such as Gulf of Tonkin incident. So with breaking the hypnosis, this leads to what's called the grief cycle: denial, anger, bargaining, depression, acceptance. DABDA. Learned about that in high school. Learned about that based on people who die. When someone dies, they go through the process. They deny that the person's dead. They get angry the person's dead. They wish for the person to be back. They get depressed the person's never coming back until they accept it. That's the whole grief cycle. That's the whole cycle everyone has to go through with the globe death.
You mentioned Gulf of Tonkin and the fake wars. Yeah. I just found out the other day, because I really never looked into it, is that during Pearl Harbor, not a single Japanese soldier body was recovered.
What?
Not a single. Yeah, so it's like the hijackers on 9/11. Maybe it sounds like the same thing. Nothing new under the sun.
Wow.
Yeah, not a single body was recovered.
Were they actually covered Jap Zeros though? Did they actually cover those aircraft?
I don't know.
Because have you ever seen a Jap Zero? Have you ever been inside one? The cockpit is very small. Like, you would think a tiny Japanese person would be in there.
I mean, maybe those planes crashed. Maybe I don't know. I mean, crap blew up. People died, but it's all, none of it is what they tell us.
Just for fun, hypothetical, you know how there's that whole Tartaria reset and there was like millions of orphans just on trains? Could you imagine if they took an orphan kid and said, hey kid, you're going to fly this plane over here, and like just kill the kid, take the kid out of the cockpit, and like that's it? Like, how crazy would that be? They just like sacrifice these kids. Wouldn't even surprise me if they did it. Because if the cockpit is so small, it's either going to be a small
Where did those kids come from?
Or a child. I don't understand that. Maybe it was a whole different slave trade we just didn't know about.
How about this as a concept? Ready? I'll go on the app. I'll go to the photos, and you've seen these maps with the outer lands, right? Like we live here, right? And there's outer lands, but then this is just a smaller section of the bigger map.
Yeah, I like that. I like
with
that
all
concept.
Yeah, but what if this is real? I think it might be.
I like that.
What if there's tunnel systems connecting them with trains? How would we ever know?
Yeah, we wouldn't.
How would we ever know? Maybe when, it was time to repopulate our world, these other more advanced worlds out there, they're like, hey, bring forth souls and let's put them into this amazing school, which we call Earth. And, and all of these children were born and sent in to be adopted and repopulate the Earth.
Yeah. I like that concept. I like that concept. I do. I like that whole concept of the part I have trouble with grasping like a bigger version of it is every section will have to have its own
sun.
Polaris with its own clock.
It have its own star field. Why not?
Yeah.
Why not? So in the app, if you go to the book section and go to the Navigator Who Crossed the Ice Wall, short book right here, awesome. Check that puppy out. You can literally read it one day, and it is. What's going on here? When is it loading?
I wanted to talk about the app and your website after. On Android, it's either Android or my phone. I have a little issue. I have some weird tech issues with that. I want to talk about that after, though.
We'll fix that.
Yeah.
All right, and one more thing. So
I'm going to go right into the angular.
You've seen this map, right?
Yeah.
You've seen this map?
Is that the ancient? Is that the Buddhist map? What was that? Japan? Where was that
the Buddhist map that was found.
Yeah, right. Tibet? Whatever it was.
What if, we go to Antarctica from Santiago? What if they just take us here?
I wish.
They go here at Antarctica. You wouldn't know. This is bigger than the United States and Canada and Mexico combined.
Yeah,
okay,
that's pretty big.
How would you know? And maybe the rest of this is frozen. Maybe it's not frozen out here. Maybe there is no ice wall. Maybe it's just right here. This is just the wall of this high continent right here, right? But you know about the shipping map, right?
Dude,
you can track shipping.
You're a mind reader because I was going to get to that. I'm calling that the big boat hypothesis that you've called it. I call it the big boat hypothesis.
What if there are shipping lanes going out here, right?
Yeah.
How would you ever know, right? And the one ship we found was registered in this little atoll, this little coral reef called Kiribati.
How do you spell
ever hear that?
How do you spell that?
Kiribati.
Kiribati. I couldn't spell it.
Yeah. Check that out. Like, how would you ever know?
I was in the Navy. I used to work on an aircraft carrier, and it's a city on the ocean. So I'm well aware of how a city on the ocean could work. 5,000 people on the ship. You have your own airport. You got your own fresh water system. You can carry a lot of stuff, and it does not surprise me. Because we're there on the big boat hypothesis, I was just thinking about this recently. The whole concept of nuclear anything. So CVN-73 was the USS George Washington. That was the ship I was on. And the N in CVN, it used to just be CV. They added N to mean nuclear. Do you think it's possible that a nuclear sub or a nuclear aircraft carrier could just be radium lied to as nuclear? Like they just lied to about what the actual energy source is, and it's really radium, and it's not actually some like nuclear thing going on. It's literally just radium.
There's no nuclear thing going on there.
No, but you know what I mean? Could they just be lied to?
They're using these substances to boil water and create steam.
Yeah.
Okay. It's a high tech way of boiling water.
But do you think? But I mean, I know that. But do you think radium? Remember that whole like radium thing where like people would say it's dangerous, and they used to. I've seen it on this guy's Instagram called the Improbable Dreamer. He does a lot of.
He's the best.
I like that guy.
My favorite guy.
He's a great guy. He's
Yeah.
He always talks about the mud flood stuff. He talks about the radium, that whole like energy thing where you see a fireplace but it's just like this light glow going on. And,
Yeah.
Do you think it's possible that radium could just be lied, like they're just lying to him and saying, "Oh, look, this is nuclear material. You got to be careful." Meanwhile, it's just radium. Like, okay,
Yeah.
I guess I'll go into the rebranding thing. We're already here. Words get rebranded, right? Etymology. You're a big fan of etymology, where words come from, like that. Me too. The word trolling used to be slowly cruising in a boat with bait in the water to drag a scent to catch fish. That was trolling. A little 1, 2, 3, 4 horsepower motor is called a troller motor. That's what my dad used to call it, a troller motor. You put your bait in the water and you just troll along at a couple miles per hour, a couple knots, and fish smell it all over stream, and then they come to you. You drag it through and then they come to you. Now, trolling is posting intentionally false information to bait engagement. The word bait is still in there. You're supposed to bait engagement. That's what trolling is today. Gay was happy and married. Now it's homosexual preference. Figure that out. And one of my favorites, buoyancy and density are two words that have been combined, rebranded corporately, almost like it was an idea for business, into gravity. Yet they're defined into an unprovable mathematical theory, unless it's a video game like World of Warcraft, Minecraft, or the NASA space model computer software. That's what gravity has been. Gravity is rebranded with a lie of a definition, an unprovable theory, and it rebranded buoyancy and density into one thing. That's what I've noticed. The Great Reset is not the Great Reset. It's the Great Redefining. It's the Great Rebranding. Burn that shit into your minds, because that's what the f is going on. So I remember you talked to someone about, you said the word in, the prefix in, I-N. It means inner? Is that real? Inner?
The doctor tells you that whatever dis-ease you have is incurable. He's not lying. You can cure it within. We don't have immune systems. We have these incredible cleansing, healing machines, right? So your body is constantly just cleansing itself and taking care of itself. So, the whole thing about, the boogeyman coming and going to get you, it's just toxins. It's just toxins, right? And yes, guess what? Since 2020, the boogeyman has been worse than the one that they used to call the flu, right? And I believe that all of that comes through the jibby jab, right? Every year, 60,000 people in America die from the FLU. I'm trying to avoid the algorithm. Right. But I believe that comes from, they went to get the preventative jibby jab for that, and that's what gives it to them, and that's what spreads it. So this year, in 2020, they changed it to a more toxic one that made you sicker, and they called it the cuckoo, whatever you want to call it, the Rona. And the flu didn't exist. It's just so that people even can't see that.
All right, I'm gonna give I didn't expect to go to that world when we talk about the
we can get off that world. If we go to that world,
no, because
you're gonna get a strike.
Right, because as soon as I got out of the Navy, I forgot to get my yearly shot, which we used to get in the Navy, and I was playing roller hockey a couple times a week outside at a free rink. I was skating. I was the best skater in the rink, and I could outskate anybody except one guy who was faster, who was 10 years younger than me. But I was a killer. I could be out there for minutes at a time, up and down the rink. I got that flu shot, and I got sick for 5 days. Never before in the Navy. I'm almost convinced in the Navy they give us placebos. I'm convinced they give placebos in the Navy, because when I got out, I got the civilian one, And I got sick for a few days. I was laying down like semi upright, like on like an angle like that, because I was like, this is garbage, and my ears got out of balance. And when I went to walk to the bathroom, I slammed into the door frame. I thought I was walking straight, and my ears and balance were off.
Could you imagine if you were floating on the space station, what your inner ears would be doing?
Done.
I don't think that people could survive in
you
zero
would
gravity.
go nuts. You would literally go nuts because your body would have zero concept of balance, no up or down. It would make no sense. So then, this is the weird part. I've always been obsessed with music, and I really do think it could cure everything. And I'll throw it out as a side point. I think reggae music is the greatest music ever invented. Let's skip that. I remember I listened to, we talked about 311 before. It was their album called Uplifter, and I think it was within 2 or 3 songs. I was listening to it, and I heard a pop in my ears, and I completely snapped out of my balance. My balance went perfect again. It was like it recalibrated my brain. It was like a snap, and boom! I even knew I was awake again. Like, holy shit, I could stand up, and I stood up and I walked straight. And I went, no one's gonna believe me. This is crazy, and still no one believes me. It's not the fact that it was that band's music; it was the fact that it was music itself. Whatever music you enjoy, that could heal you, no matter how evil the music sounds. Something about it is attached to a moment in your life which brings up a happy moment. You could be listening to the heaviest, most evil music you could ever hear in your life. I'm a huge fan of death metal, Slayer, stuff like that. But it's when you're with your friends having fun, it's a reminder of a happy point. The music doesn't matter. I guess subconsciously over time it could destroy you if you keep saying the words in your head, right? If you say auto-suggestion, horrific things.
And the frequency, they changed it from 432 to 440.
Right.
Have you heard Conspiracy Music Guru's reggae song?
No.
It's unbelievable. You would be, if I played it for you and didn't tell you who it was, you'd be like, is that Bob Marley? Is that Ziggy Marley? Is that Gregory Isaacs? You wouldn't know who it was.
I'll check it out.
And you got to check it out. Conspiracy Music Guru, look up his reggae song, and that guy is crazy.
I heard his funny thing happened on the way to the moon song. Brilliant. Love it.
All
the
of his
video's
stuff.
beautiful. It's so good. I didn't know
he's even got a button on the app. If you hit the web button, there's a Conspiracy Music Guru button there.
So good. So I wanted to clear up on the etymology thing. So because you were talking about that, you showed those diagrams before of the potential other lakes, gigantic lakes, the other potential worlds that could be around us. So you got in space, because you talk about incurable, inner, in space, outer space, terrestrial, extraterrestrial, right? Big fan of that. What if in space is just your inner space, and outer space is literally anything outside of your body, including that?
Sure.
In space, outer space, but terrestrial, extraterrestrial. It's just an interesting way to look at it. It's just,
you can take it to macro, micro, whatever.
Right.
Your body is the inner space, everything outside is the outer space.
Right.
And you can look at our known world and call that the inner space, and everything beyond that the outer space.
Exactly. It's the
right?
fractal, right? It's awesome.
Yeah.
It's just, I never realized that prefix of IN. It was a big fan of like connecting those dots of we're saying the words. Do you have?
I just had a thought. The movie series Star Wars is like the biggest thing ever. Though everyone in the world just goes crazy over it, except us anymore.
Yeah.
That's been ruined. But if you did it on a flat plane, same exact story. The federal command out there traveling between worlds, hostile worlds, friendly worlds. It would be the greatest blockbuster series ever,
right?
Because it's based in reality.
Yes, that would also cause people to be interested.
Wake the fuck up.
and wake them up. Right. They would.
Yeah,
They would have that.
They don't.
They would have that moment of, oh, exploration isn't illegal. Like think about all the millionaire influencers that are out there that rent private planes all the time just so they could take a photo in front of a palm tree. There's or some pooling off the coast of Greece. They only go there to take a photo and then they leave. They get nothing intellectual out of it. So imagine you told those people, hey, you want attention? Get on that plane and fly south. Where south? Just go anywhere south as far as you want to go. Okay. If you had a million millionaires get on planes and just go, they ain't stopping it. They ain't stopping it. And obviously, that would be the moment you'd realize the amount of anti-aircraft guns that would have to be used to take them down. You'd realize, oh, they're going literally at war with us. All we're trying to do is fly south for a Instagram video.
The problem, besides the logistics of that, is even if you got it all together and everyone got on their jets, how far can you go before you run out of fuel?
Oh, they don't.
They have us trapped. They have us trapped in their fuel system. Even if they let us go, those planes would all run out of fuel, maybe even before they got to the dome of this world.
Well, okay, so I guess the potential for that would be.
That's why. Hold on. That's why no fuel is allowed beyond 60 degrees south, because they figure if you take off with a full tank of fuel from 60 degrees south, you'll never get all the way anywhere.
I didn't know that. I didn't know beyond the 60 degree.
No extra fuel beyond 60 degrees south.
Oh.
Right? We have our oceans of the world. You know how many oceans there are.
What was it, 5?
Well,
there's really one big ocean technically, but
well, that's a good way.
When you look at that map, there's only one ocean. You don't have to turn it around to see the other ocean. You just see the ocean.
Right. So they told us that there was. Hold on a second. Where is it? How many oceans? Here we go.
Know that.
So the Atlantic, Pacific, Indian, and Arctic, and now there's the Southern Ocean. Okay, the Southern Ocean is everything outside of 60 degrees south. That's probably bigger than all of the other oceans combined, and nobody's allowed to go there. Isn't that a red flag somewhere? Can you give me a red flag on this one?
They call it a Southern Ocean?
The Southern Ocean is everything from beyond 60 degrees south. I was never taught about the Southern Ocean.
I wasn't either.
Yeah.
What the? All right. It just gets the layers just keep flying off, Dave. It's they're just flying away. They're just going. They're just where are they going? I don't know. It's that fuel thing is really that's a mind off, bro. That's the one. All right. I guess I can talk about hypnosis later. I really want to get into the optics stuff you got going on because that is
Go for it.
The big one. People love saying seeing is believing, and now when you explain to them how your eyes see, I don't want to believe it anymore. So it's especially when you're talking about the when light leaves, it loses its intensity, gets closer. And
I got to put the graphic. I don't have a graphic for the inverse square law because to me it's just such a basic thing. So look at it this way.
Do you mind if I set the question up for you?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. So the angular resolution and the angular limit of light propagation. I personally believe I've been lied to about how light operates and how my eyeballs function to perceive the environment around me. The question is, how many ways can this topic of angular resolution and the angular limit of light propagation be demonstrated or explained in experiments and mathematics?
So the angular resolution, the inverse square law applies to sound, light. It applies to everything, brightness. So think about this. Put a hula hoop around your head. Your head's in the middle of the hula hoop that's at eye level, and you draw 365 lines 1 degree apart coming from the center of your head out. So you're in the middle of this spoked wheel. Mm-hmm. Okay? I'm trying to do this with water. I'm trying to think. So imagine there's imagine it's like a low-lying sheet pan, a circular sheet pan with all of those spikes on it, and you pour water in it, okay? And it only goes out like 2 feet, okay? So all of the water in each one of those channels is a certain amount of water, okay? So now we expand that sheet pan out to 50 miles. It went from 3 feet to 50 friggin' miles. Let's take all of that water that was between my eye and the edge of the sheet pan and move it out to 50 miles, where now it's not this narrow, it's miles. It's like, it's probably a half a mile wide or whatever it is. And you have to now spread that water evenly to show. So basically what it shows is the same thing happens with light, the same thing happens with sound, the same thing happens with everything. As it goes away, it's just spreading out farther and farther. So light, it gets thinner and thinner and thinner. You won't see it, right? But they have us brainwashed that we can see back in time, billions of years, the stars that are no longer there. I mean, so stupid. All of that starlight would literally have to be going down like a fiber optic cable coming to your eye for you to be able to see it.
Yeah.
Okay. But it's spreading out. It's spreading out. Light minutes don't exist. They're too big. Okay. A light minute is too big. All right. And they want us to believe that Polaris is 433 light years away. You couldn't see Polaris at a light hour away, according to everything. You've heard me explain it a million times. And then once you understand, and then people go, well, you don't have any proof of anything. Every single thing about flat Earth kills the globe. You only need one. Okay. The fact that we see stars with our naked eye, they're trillions and trillions of miles away, but we can still see them, right? And everyone, at the time of this recording, Saturn, the planets are all close to each other, close to the moon right now. And if you go up and look at, I like looking at Jupiter because it's so friggin' bright. It's the brightest thing in the sky next to the moon. And it's literally as bright as the sun, but it's just very small.
Right.
How the hell is that reflecting sunlight, a smaller sun, right? You're on Jupiter.
Off gas, by the way.
Off of gas.
Off gas, by the way.
And Jupiter, they tell us, has more gravity than all of the other planets combined. Oh, cool. Must have a lot of mass. At the same time, they tell us Jupiter's 90 some odd percent hydrogen and helium. Right? Here on Earth, hydrogen and helium defy gravity. So how much hydrogen and helium do you need to create more mass than all of the other planets? That alone, done, over. Heliocentrism is dead. That's all you need.
Yeah.
Okay? We have a billion now of these things. Okay? That's it. It's over. They're lying. Wake up. And people are, what difference does it make? I still got to go to work on Monday, right? That's the problem. You're going to have to go to work on Monday until you wake the fuck up.
Right.
Because it has us as slaves, where they have us in a complete and total slave system, and people are literally their own prison guards.
And they want to be, because that change is so uncomfortable. I think it always goes back to this, I'm going to lose attention, I'm going to lose money, I'm going to lose. They seem like it's the literal grief cycle. Like the death of something is going to happen, and it's the death of this identity they've built up to believe.
Right. That by design, the controllers have us literally based everything off of heliocentrism. They have our real world beliefs and our fantasy world beliefs all based on complete and total nonsense. And when you're off kilter that much, you're missing out on everything. You're unable to manifest properly because you can't think properly. You're lost in space. You're insignificant. And there's billions and trillions and quadrillions of other worlds, and that we need to go to Mars. Dumbest thing ever.
Dude, George Carlin talked about it. George Carlin put it in a bit a long time ago. Oh, we're going to Mars. It's like, that's the next attack. Like, what do we need to do that for? We're going to Mars. Like, okay, for what? Bob Marley said it in a song called "So Much Trouble in the World," or I think it's called just "So Much Trouble." He says, "Sailing on their ego trips, blast off on their spaceships. No care for you, no care for me." It's just they're just shooting missiles. They're shooting missiles into space, like into the air, arcing them into nothing, into the water. And there's so much stuff on the ground you should be fixing that could be fixed. Not should be. Should be is like a moral decision, but could be. They could be fixed, but they choose not to do it. What is that kind of a decision process? Imagine having $1 billion and then deciding, I could fix things here, but I'd rather not do it. Just it's just that mentality to wake up and think like that.
The Bob Marley saying, shooting rockets into the air. This is a launch. They want us to believe that's going around the curve, but we can't see the curve even from 127,000 feet. But this is following the curve. What is the Earth? 10 miles wide? Right?
Did you see the new SpaceX launch?
When?
Oh, it is so bad. Oh my goodness. It is one of the worst I've ever seen. It's
send me a link afterwards.
I think it might be their newest thing that they post on their Instagram. It's always about
the landing. Worse and worse.
The landing is, you can skip the whole video and just go to the last 20 seconds. It's only like 1:40, but it's the landing is always the worst animation imaginable. Oh, it just goes from hundreds of miles an hour to just, oh, look, we stopped. It's amazing that people believe that. If that's how easy it was to stop something going hundreds of miles an hour, aircraft would just decide to, hey, we're just gonna set it down here. Like we're just gonna set it down over here right now. If that's how easy it was to stop thousands and tens of thousands. Is that the new one?
No, this is an old one, but
that one's
people
horrible.
that believe this, so stupid.
Can you pull up a browser and put it on your screen? Are you able to do that?
I actually can't right now, but I will in the future.
Oh, it's so bad. It's so bad. Man, I wanted you to just look
at this. They're like, I see the curve of the Earth, and look, these little milk crates are going to let me land, with wind currents and everything, on a little raft 800 miles out in the ocean where it's always calm. I've never been out in the ocean where it's calm.
No.
Okay.
The only way it is when you're deep out there. When you're out deep, sometimes it looks like glass, but otherwise that's
weather system, right? And so this little thing and this little fire is stopping this multi-ton tube landing on. Look, it's going to land right on this.
But look how fast it is. Here's the key. Look how fast it's moving.
Oh, it should be going much faster, and then it always freezes, and then it landed.
Dude, the new one, you gotta get when you get the new one. It's amazing how fast it moves and how fast it stops. Is anybody who believes that has zero athletic ability in their life. They don't grasp anything in the real world. They probably don't even realize how a car works. Like when they press the brake, why the car moves forward because of the momentum. They probably don't even grasp that.
Right.
There's no smoke. They're sitting here ripping through thousands of pounds of fuel per second. No smoke.
And it just shows up above the clouds. Like, it's so fake. People are insane.
These are some of the biggest giveaways today are these. These videos today, Blue Origin. Holy, the Blue Origin videos are unbelievable. There's I saw a video on your website, flatearthdave.com, and there was a video where the Blue Origin, they're like cheering and the rocket's behind it, and the ground is perfect.
Yeah. I mean, the thrust from these things would obliterate everything, including cement. Okay.
It would melt.
But there's nothing, little fences, they don't move, nothing.
I love the video you show when it really just looks like a helium balloon floating away. Yeah. That's really what it looks like. It really does just look like it's floating away.
All of the space shuttle launches like that. Yep.
It's just floating away.
Yep.
The difference between physical equipment and digital resolution. I noticed some assholes don't understand this one. And I'm calling them assholes because they're treating you like an asshole. So the difference between physical equipment and digital resolution. So the difference would be eagle eyes are physical equipment and megapixels pinch to zoom are digital. So the question is, how have people been hypnotized or conditioned to not understand the basic concept of physics, such as we can see too far? And I guess the second half, that would be, has the word mirage just been replaced and rebranded by the words imaginary hallucination, or is it all just hypnosis?
You know, mirage, the Glovers like to say mirage makes you see farther. Mirage only makes you see less. Okay? Yeah. It doesn't pull it up from behind the curve and land it in clear definition at eye level. Doesn't happen. Doesn't happen.
But, mirage is what I mean by optical zoom versus digital is, so let's say when you make the reference of this, right?
Yeah.
Seeing like that, that's the physical equipment. And the digital equipment would be you take the picture that you have and all you're doing is stretching the pixels out, and they don't grasp the idea that the P900 or the new version, the P1000, you're physically taking the eyeball and optically moving it closer and magnifying it with physical glass, not this, I'm taking a digital image and stretching the pixels out. They really don't grasp that concept of what zooming is. They've been raised to believe this is what zooming is. I take my fingers and I put it on the picture and I do this. So they're saying, well, all you're doing is taking a picture and zooming in. You're just zooming in. No. The eagle's eye is better than ours. And it could physically, if we all had eagle eyes, the globe model would be, oh, the Earth is 100,000 miles circumference. I mean, 100,000 miles diameter, because your eyes would see so much further, and they would have to deny the 3-mile mark from 6 feet, and it would have to be 100 miles because the eagle eye would see so much further that the whole model would have to change all over again. That's the hard part that people, I can't figure out how they can't figure that out, is the physical equipment is not digital equipment.
They can't figure out that Joe Biden isn't cognitively aware, that they can't figure out anything. These people are lost.
Like, do you have so this is your one where they zoom in?
No, this is just Skunk Bag showing you how it mirages out during the day. You never see farther; you always see less. But if you want to see one, that
video is good.
Here's a zooming one where this is the Space Needle, sticks up pretty freaking high, but when you zoom out, not only will the shoreline disappear, but everything will disappear because you just can't see it. It gets too small, it gets too faint, your eye can't resolve it, and the Globers will go, oh, it's because it's over the curve. No, it's right there. It's right there. That's it.
The key here is optical zoom. Is the phrase. They need to understand what optical zoom is versus digital zoom. Yep. And as soon as they can grasp the fact that these are two different things, why do you think these new phones have, well, I fucked my phone up, but why do you think these phones have all these new cameras? They're different lenses. They do different, they see different distances.
Right.
Like the whole fisheye lens that people believe is the curve, they grasp that what a fisheye lens is. They get it. Oh, that's a physical lens. But for some reason, they can't grasp your camera's P1000 goes beyond the imaginary horizon to continue. This is how I try to explain the ocean thing when people just, I try to go a different route. I go, okay, you can go 3 miles and we can look and you're going to be flat out there. And then when you get there, you stay there and I'm going to go past you 3 miles and then we're going to measure if that's flat. And then we're going to say, oh, okay, that's flat too. And then you're going to go past me 3 miles and we're going to measure that. And then when does it start curving? Because 3 miles away, it was flat. I passed you 3 miles, measured again, it was still flat. And then we went 3 more miles past that, and we kept going 3 miles at a time. And we realized, why is it just flat every 3 miles? When between does it start to not do that? And even explaining that, sometimes they go, well, you have to be past the 3 miles, bro. I go, okay.
They don't even understand how much curvature should be on their own ball.
This video is amazing. This without the, what do they have it? Without the gates? What do they call it?
Suez Canal. It's straight, level.
Is this canal like 2,000 years old, 3,000 years old, 10,000 years old?
That's what they say.
Whatever.
Who knows?
But it's a lot older than us. That's for sure.
Yeah. All right.
Okay, I'll wrap
Final
up. I want to wrap up.
thoughts.
I want to get your website plugged in here, man. All right, so flatearthdave.com. Everything's there. Get the Flat Earth Sun, Moon, and Zodiac Clock app made by Blue Water Bay. No one else. Blue Water Bay. If it's not made by Blue Water Bay, don't waste your time. It's probably some malware bullshit. So Flat Earth, Sun, Moon, and Zodiac Clock app made by Blue Water Bay. If you do happen to use a referral code, you can say hello to me at I'm Clever Artist Name 6988869.
Wait, what's your referral code?
6988869. And I did it as a joke, and I can't change it.
You can't change it. That's
No,
true.
I wanted to change it to 8675309.
That's funny.
That's
That's Jenny's number.
I know. She never gave me a call yet. Do you have an email you want to email out, or just flatearthdave.com?
If you want to contact me, go to flatearthdave.com. There's a contact me there. If you're having an issue with your phone in the app, just email support and tell them the details of your phone and the issue, and they'll resolve it for you quickly. There's so many different model phones. Sometimes little things happen and we fix them.
All right, cool.
And you can, if you're looking to book me for a show, send me your information. There's a Book Dave link. There's the Eddie's book on the 16 emergency landings, which is a fantastic book to have.
Yeah, I'll put the links. I'll overlay that as well.
It's all on flatearthdave.com. That's the only link you need. Flatearthdave.com.
Flatearthdave.com for him, or imcleverartistname@gmail.com for me. Booking 516-216-3934 for live shows. I'm going to be probably DJing at one of the after parties of one of Dave's events in the future. Hopefully it's at a pool. Hopefully it's near a poolside in Miami or something. I'll do that. And I guess have the courage to be public about this, right? If there's products, if there's like something where like the Gleason map, like I designed this fleece blanket here. It's got the Gleason map on it. It's beautiful. Just have the courage to be public about it, but not even shove it in their face. Just let's say you got one of Dave's shirts or one of my shirts on, and they see it. They go, "What is that?" You go, "It's a map of the Earth that some guy made that millions of people use. It's old. It's like, I don't know, it's like 1800s or something." You could just brush it off like you're a surfer and allow them to just ruminate over the fact of the map they're looking at has been used by millions of people and they've never seen it before.
Gleason's map has been certified as accurate. It is used for navigation. All globes have a sticker on them that say not for educational purposes, right?
I noticed that.
That for entertainment only. Okay, so it's right in front of you. Flat Earth is everywhere. Clear your head, forget everything you know. I think you said that at the beginning of this. Clear your head, forget everything you know, and look at the world. It's flat. It's not moving. Right? Prove me wrong.
I forgot to mention the flatearthpodcast.com, or you can just go to flatearthdave.com. It goes to the same thing. I should have just showed the website. Here we go. Welcome to the Flat Earth Podcast and the home of flatearthdave.com. So there you go. There's the Flat Earth Sun, Moon, and Zodiac Clock app by Blue Water Bay. That's the key. You got to make sure it's made by those manufacturers of the app. So, it's a good app. Good website. A whole bunch of stuff here. Check it out. This could all change tomorrow night because websites are never finished. Just know that. Here's my current site right now. I'm cleverartistname.wordpress.com. There we go. And you scroll down to the bottom, and there's the booking information right here. If you want to book, name, email, phone number about your booking inquiry. All right. If you got a little poolside DJ event you want me to do, I got it. Those are my 3 newest albums. It's a world record, 3 dance albums within a year, 252 tracks. December 1st, the 63rd anniversary of the Antarctic Treaty. That's the newest one. Just came out. And we had April 2022, and then December 21st, 2021. I was shooting for 12/1. I was shooting for the first, for the 62nd anniversary of the Antarctic Treaty, but so be it. Can't win them all. And here's my newest merch. All right, we got T-shirts. It's my DJ mixing console with the Gleason maps as the plates. And it says, I can feel too near, I can see too far. All these wild colors. Let's go with the next one. I like that long sleeve shirt. I like that maroon and that deep forest the most. But that deep royal, some people like that. Cardinal, it's kind of nice. Where was the women's one? There's the sexy ones here. Look at these. Sexy. The sexy stuff going on here. The women's flowy tank top. Sexy. Neon pink. Coral. Are you doing yoga? You want to show it to the people? There you go. You got the Gleason map on your back while you're sitting there bent over doing yoga. Or, you know, a lot of women don't usually have shirts with designs. They usually don't. Especially not these yoga-style flowy tanks. Because it gets in the way of their breast physique. Just saying. Then you got this other one, the women's racerback tank. Light orange. Hot pink. Hot pink. Is that... These are the 2 I like the most, really. I like the notebook. I believe there's, 60 pages? See, double that, 120 pages. 8.5 by 5.5. The size of like a portable book. That's the front. That's the back. Subtle. You can get it other colors if you want. Go wild. All right. Use that to write your questions down of what isn't making sense. And then use that as your own personal research book. And then in the future, if you really want to, you could use your notebook with your questions in it that you've answered, that you've done the research for. You can publish your book based on your notebook as the first draft. Compartmentalize it so you know that's what you use it for. Unless you want to give it to your kid to use as a notebook in school so people can look at that kid and go, what are you, a stupid kid? You think the rat is flat? And the kid goes, yeah. And that's it. Then he just sits there on them all, proving them all wrong. And then he becomes the king of the school because he has a brain. This is the fleece blanket that I'm leaning against right now. It's sick. I think it was that public library, Boston Public Library stamped one. I like it. I like this blanket a lot. The reason why I got the black one is because we don't really know what's out there. But if you want to get a little wild, if you want to think it's all ice and snazzy out there, you can go, maybe there's more green land out there. Maybe it's just a bunch of hot pink out there. Or a little closer to matching the Gleason outer edge. Is it that red or this red works a little more to it. Blends in. It's almost like it fits into it. The cropping did that. Couldn't do anything about that black line. That was from the original scanned document of the map. So I did not want to cut it off. And I didn't want to repaint it. I wanted to leave that little, this is how it was scanned in. A little rustic, so to speak. I like that blanket. My dog likes that blanket a lot too. My dog loves fleece blankets. And that's about it. How about a little,
There are no limits to comedy.
No?
You're right, Mel. You're right. Good night. Happy birthday to May.